Hello, I'm Jamie.
Hello, I'm Marc, and it's time for another episode of Through the Garden Gate. And of course we've got the noisy dog Dash, as per usual. Hello everyone, yes, it is Through the Garden Gate on Wednesday night, because I was busy last night. So, just to throw you all out of routine, we're on a Wednesday.
Because you went to Strictly.
Yep. Jamie, change to the right account because you're on the Garden Grand Ball account.
So, what is he on there? Dad, it's just going to be about me and you talking, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll have to replace you with Jamie.
Okay.
What have you done in the garden this week, George?
Nothing really.
Nothing?
Well, I went into the garden a bit. It's finally unfrozen, which is good.
And not flooded.
Yeah.
So you're actually able to play football in your own garden.
Yeah, now.
Which is impressive.
Yep, indeed.
I get him in.
Come on, Jamie, let's go.
George, careful.
Okay.
Knock the table over. Good morning from New Zealand. So all the way around the other side of the world, George.
Mm-hmm. Yes, come on.
Can we get him in?
Come on.
Someone's telling you to come and say hello, Steph.
Yes.
Hey!
Yay!
It worked!
That was hard work.
After about 50 attempts.
It's weird when it happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can go for about 6 months and no problems, and then it all happens.
Yeah.
Will not let guests in.
And that,
It's like, no, I'm blocking you off.
the Garden Grand Ball thing is because it just pops up, and obviously I get the Garden Grand Ball notifications before mine, and I just press it, and
And then it flips.
I'm like, oh, bloody hell, I'd have to go out and come back in again.
Someone's asked George, what's your favourite plant?
Wow.
Roses, maybe? Something like that.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Any specific colour rose?
Evening.
Red.
Red.
Mhm.
Nice.
Red.
Nice red rose.
Red rose for Valentine's Day.
Nice and classic. And good mid-morning from Canada. So we've got New Zealand and Canada
Wow.
on the live from one side of the world.
Unbelievable.
Isn't it, George? Oh,
Give me 1 sec.
George is going somewhere.
Oh.
Evening tea.
How you doing, Marc?
Stress tonight.
What are you doing gallivanting on a Tuesday night?
Well, we had like a meeting at George's school, and I said to Steph,
Where's the
I've got it. Hang on, I'm talking straight. So I said to Steph, it's at 4 o'clock. We're going to be there till 6 because it always runs on because we like to chat when we get in those meetings.
Yeah, you do.
And
Indeed.
it did. So yeah, a bit of a rush.
That was tonight. So I'm on about last night. What were you doing?
Oh, last
Booking
night.
things
What were we doing?
in on a Tuesday night?
No, sorry about that. Last night we were. Where were we, George?
Strictly.
Does Jamie deserve a 10?
Indeed.
Or is it that?
Cool. Still looks like 10 from here.
That's one from you.
That's one.
Yeah, so we were out at Strictly last night, which was good.
Yep.
And you had a nice evening with Grandma?
Yep.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Good. Really good.
I can give you a little fact now. I've never watched a single programme of Strictly.
What?
What?
Even
Never,
George
ever,
watched
ever.
Strictly.
I've watched Strictly. Fire the Gladiators on it.
And who
Never,
else was on
ever seen it.
that you liked a few years ago? So who else that you like was on Strictly?
Oh yeah, Tom Fletcher was on Strictly as well.
Who?
Tom Fletcher.
Oh,
He was
yeah,
on
yeah,
Strictly
yeah.
a few years ago.
You've met him.
I've met him, yeah. I've met him.
I hadn't seen you for a couple of weeks, George. What have you been doing?
School
Yeah, school.
last week. Were you swimming last week? No.
I'm not having it for another 2 weeks now.
No. Missed one because you were supposed to have swimming
I was supposed to have it yesterday, but we couldn't go because you were out, and then we told him that we couldn't go, and then I wanted to go, and then eventually my mum texted them and said, "Is there any things available if George wants to go?" And they were like, "No," because they had booked someone else in.
Oh.
Never mind. You'll be able to go in a couple of weeks.
See?
Yeah, I'll be able to go in 2 weeks or so.
See, look, Family Garden 2019 's the same with me. Never seen it. Just does not float my boat one bit. Not one bit.
There'll be a lot of people that don't watch it because, you know.
No, but it's really good.
It is good, but not everybody likes the same thing, do they? Which, you know, not everybody likes Paw
Dad,
Patrol.
the Minions, you know, the star. The Minions.
Yeah, I'm sure it is good, but it's never been anything that neither Teresa or I have been bothered about. Never.
No.
Dash.
Do you watch much television?
Yeah, from probably, I don't know, 7 o'clock, 6:30 every night. We sit down in front of the TV. We like a thriller and a series thing.
Crime drama.
Yeah, they're really popular at the minute. They're brilliant. That one with Martin Clunes in at the minute is absolutely amazing.
Not seen that one yet.
Oh, you need to get on it.
Stuff.
Brilliant. Are you on your 5G, Mark? Because you're really blocky.
No, it's relaxed.
Not been the same since Pasha. Oh, is that a hunky dancer? Is it, Kate?
It is. He left because he married Rachel Riley from Countdown.
Oh, right. Yes, I know. Of course, I know Rachel Riley. I like Countdown.
George.
Has he not got a fact today?
Not got a fact, no, because I'm that unorganised. We haven't even done that, have we? Do you know any gardening facts, George, off the top of your head?
No.
No.
What's good to be doing at this time of year, George?
Without you telling me.
What's good to do in the garden at this time of year?
What?
Well, I'm
Talking about what you just said your favourite plant was. What
Well,
could you be doing to that?
Roses, so we could
Move it.
Or
cut it.
Prune it
up.
Snippy, snip.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, look. Christine, listen. See you, mate.
See you later.
See you later. You are really blocky. See, George.
Should be better now I'm on 5G. You're blocky as well, actually.
It's better now, yeah.
Internet's just rubbish. I look like Minecraft.
Yeah, you're right now. You've gone nice. Probably
No,
George is moving about so much, probably. Can't keep up. Am I blocky?
You are now, yeah.
I'm never bloody blocky.
Keep losing you.
Really?
Weird. It must be. Well, they're doing loads of changes to Instagram, aren't they? So they're messing it all up again. Changing all the squares to rectangles.
I don't get that. Why is everybody blaring about it? Mine just looks exactly the
same. My personal account is still squares, but the Through the Garden Gate when I go on it is rectangle.
Mine's got a rectangle.
It doesn't really make much difference, does it?
No, I don't think so.
And they're not exactly much bigger. They're only slightly bigger squares.
Yeah, people have been saying, because if you got writing on it and stuff, it's just throwing the writing out. Or I don't know.
It's for people that like all their boxes to match and have like pretty design.
Right, yeah.
There's people that have got that are a bit OCD about it or like to have all their things matching, which is why it's upsetting.
Don't worry me one bit. I didn't even know anything about it.
And the weird thing about it all is that different people have different things. Like you think if they updated it, everybody would get that update. But Steph can now post 20 photos on a carousel thing, whereas I can only do 10 still.
Carousel? What, post?
Yeah, post with pictures that you swipe across.
Oh, right, yeah.
20 pictures on that, whereas I can only do 10.
I tell you what, I have noticed recently. A lot of people are starting doing videos on a post, and I guess you can get lots of longer videos on one post.
Yeah, I think you can do a 3-minute video.
Yeah.
So if you want to like post an episode of Through the Garden Gate, and it was only half an hour, you'd be able to chop it into 10 sections and post it like that.
Each one you can do up to 3 minutes.
I think so, yeah.
Well, that's just blown reels out of the water, then, isn't it?
Well, it's all just nonsense anyway, isn't it? Because you used to be able to post however long videos you wanted, and then they changed it to 50 seconds, and then, you know, just constantly changing.
I don't know why, I can't see it.
It's just annoying.
Very annoying.
So, you've been in the garden again, up to no good?
No, I've been having a little mulch about, that's all. See what's going on. You can't believe how many people tell me off. I'm allowed to have a walk around.
Yeah, but you were in again.
I bashed my little lock on the door, yeah, but that doesn't take anything. I did shift that pot to get my sieve on, but a few people noticed that.
Were you like that?
But you just no, I only pulled it because I couldn't get the sieve on. I only pulled it a little bit, but you just don't realise you do it. Everything comes so natural. Just to move a pot an inch, you know. But I'm doing all right. I think I'm doing all right.
Do you feel any pain or anything when you're moving stuff?
Occasionally, if I overreach or if I do something, I do feel it. Yeah. But it's just hard not to do anything. It's just oof.
What are you at now?
Just can't do it.
3 weeks?
Coming up for 4 weeks now.
Wow.
I've just gone past 3. I think 3 weeks. Yeah, fairly.
Whereas for me, that feels like it's gone quite quick.
Yeah,
But for you, it's crawling because you're literally not doing anything.
It's crawling, yeah, and it's just the same every day. I'm not getting up and doing it. I'm getting up, breakfast, sitting down, waiting for Teresa, going to do the field, waiting for Teresa, go for a walk. But, you know, it's just repetitive all day, every day, exactly the same.
You'll just get used to it, and then you'll be able to go back to work, and you won't want to go back. You're like, I
want to have a breakfast at 9 o'clock.
Where is he? He's supposed to be on the job and
sit around in my pajamas till 11:30. No, I think it's working. It's all good. My heart feels good, nice and strong now. It's just this bloody stupid bone in here. My sternum hurts still. But I suppose it is what it is. There was a programme on Channel 5 the other night, a couple of nights ago, with my exact operation. And I watched it. It's amazing. Not mine, but somebody else. Yeah. Yeah. Patience, that's all it takes. I've got to just be steady. I'll be all right. I'll tick past and I'll be fine. Really well.
Well, you're a third.
So tonight's a bit. I think I'll be all right before what they said, the 3 months thing. I think I'll be another 4 weeks. I'll be fine.
You'll be veg garden.
I will be fine. I can drive in 2 weeks.
That'll make a difference because you'll be able to like go out for the day and stuff. Go for
go and see people, can't I? Yeah, just have a mill about and whatever.
As long as you're not, working or anything like that.
No, I've still got to be careful not to damage this bone.
Yeah, but that'll be better.
Tonight's obviously a bit screwed up, isn't it?
My fault.
Because you went off gallivanting last night. I was speaking to Jenny last night. Jenny Wren, she's in. I see. If you want to come on, Jenny, you're very welcome. As we said, we were talking earlier. You can come on and have a chat, and then we'll have a chat with Daniel afterwards. But you have to let us know now, and then we'll get you in. She was really worried about how to get in. I said, you just have to press a button. That's it. Prove that bloody wrong.
The gremlins of the internet proved us wrong.
Yeah. I've started trying to get all my seeds together. I've got so many seeds, it's ridiculous.
I've done some more sowing and started some leeks and some spring onions the other day. So I've done a few bits.
Jenny's pressed it.
Let's see if we can get her in.
Yeah.
Hello.
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 See, told you. All that worrying.
It works.
How are you? Are you right?
Yeah, good, thank you. Literally just stopped. Kids are fed. Everyone's sorted. So all good. If you hear shaking, it's my dog. She's just trying to get my attention, so you have to ignore her.
If you hear what? Shaking?
My dog, yeah, she's just there. She keeps shaking. She thinks video calls all for her, so you might get a really
definitely. So you're a bit nervous about coming on live last night. It's no big, is it?
Well, just be nice with me. No hard questions.
Tell us about your gardening. You know what you know that better than anybody else about through the garden gate, really.
Well, we moved here about 14 months ago, and it was just a green rectangle. So nice blank canvas. The front faces south. Obviously, back's nearly always in shade at the very bottom towards the house in summer. Thick clay. So I like a challenge. So we've gone country cottage in the front, big tree, lots of perennials, annuals, and vegetables in beds and in amongst all the flowers. And then down the side entrance, I've planted up along the wall top in troughs. I made a trough pond, and then we have a jungle green themed patio garden, and then up the steps and through the garden gate that I'm putting in, we have a secret woodland garden.
Oh wow!
Wow!
So busy.
Just tell us about the trough pond. What's the trough pond?
Well, it's just a pond made out of a trough.
Simple.
It sounds posh, but the birds love it, and so do the bats. So I just got watercress in there, and a water geum, and a dwarf rush, and it's ever so happy.
Brilliant. Water geum.
Yeah.
Didn't know there was such.
It's it's
wild.
like a blush pink with apricot, tiny little flower.
Wow.
So it's like a tiny geum.
What? And that is in the water.
Yeah. They can grow.
Have you heard of that, Marc?
They can grow in boggy soil, but or they grow in like marginal, just in the water. So it's maybe under, I don't know, 10 centimeters. Isn't it?
Oh wow! Never even knew that.
I planted it in an old sock, balanced on a pot. So it's about under that much.
Amazing.
So,
they like my garden, surprisingly.
Sorry?
They like my garden, surprisingly.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Why? So dry in your garden, Marc.
It is very dry.
We've got two other ponds in the wildlife, in the woodland bit. One's in the shade and one's in the sun. And we've got a little mini pond in a wheelbarrow. And we're just putting, there's another pond behind me just there to go in the jungle garden. And I'm making a water feature from rustic slate.
Oh, lovely.
So it'll just trickle down, and moss will hopefully grow, and ferns and bits and bobs. So that's the plan.
Really
And
nice.
these guys are for the jungle garden when it's spring. But they're a bit too young in the cold to go outside just yet.
What size is your garden name? Because it sounds like it's about 20 acres.
No, it's not. It really isn't. I've never measured it, if I'm honest. It's not huge. The patio is maybe 2.5 meters wide, 3 meters wide, and then the width of the house is standard semi, and then the back garden, well, I have to measure it. I'm not sure. 10 meters, perhaps by the width of the house. It's not huge. I've just squeezed it all in.
Yeah, but it sounds amazing when you say all these different parts.
Yeah, I don't like, personally, a garden that you can just see all of it.
Mm, definitely.
I like to walk in and you can't see, but you can hear it, or you can tell something's there, but you've got to go around and find a way in.
Makes it.
So what have you put?
Bigger as well.
Tall plants up for
Yeah.
screens and things that you've got to walk around and get to the next part.
Yeah, because we've got the house backs onto a field, so we've got a lot of field runoff come down, which is a joy. So the garden is maybe thigh height higher than the patio, so there's always a bed there anyway. And then I put in a fireplace for the secret woodland bit, which is a bit of quirky fun. And we just made a screen out of slats of wood and painted it black, so you can see through it, but you can't see through it. That makes sense. The black sets the green off for the jungle garden, and then it's lost in the woodland bit. You can't really see it because the plants are thicker the woodland side than they are this side of the minute, so you can't see it. So it's all done around wildlife. The whole lot's done around wildlife. And edibles.
And to do it in 14 months, it's crazy.
Yeah. And in that, my daughter had an operation, so she was out of action. So for months, I couldn't go outside.
Wow, you've done really well.
So, well, I haven't done it all personally. I can't do everything. I walk with sticks and a frame. So my son, bless him, has dug so many holes. Poor kid. Bless him. And I have a chap come once a month who comes to help me, Aaron. So he comes up for the day once a month and kind of gets given this list of.
Yeah.
But he's very, very good, because he'll either start a job for me, then I finish it and take all the credit, or
perfect.
I'll start it, make a right hash of it. I can't quite dig the hole big enough, or I can't do this, I can't lift that. And then he'll finish it off, and I take all the credit. But he's brilliant, bless him.
Sounds really good.
But yeah, it's a bit of fun. But everywhere's edible in it somewhere.
So you've got them all in, just edibles in between all your plants in the beds. Yeah,
the front's easier because obviously it's cottage garden, so you can stick your vegetable plants in amongst everything anyway. Down the side, there's herbs in amongst the grasses and whichever perennial I decide to poke in the troughs. So there's my favourite one is Indian mint, because that hangs down and trails down about 1 metre. So I love Indian mint. And it keeps your flies away from the back door, which is useful. The jungle garden, it has things like ginger, mint, a few other herbs, sweet corn, because when sweet corn grows, it just looks a bit tropical.
Yeah.
And when it's in amongst all the other stuff, it just blends in.
Yeah.
And then the woodland bit has got no end of berries. It's got currants berries, and a lot of your old foraging plants are in there for the wildlife that I sometimes pinch a little bit back from. So it's all done around the wildlife. It's all, and all the stages going forward, it's always planned for them as well.
Yeah.
You know your sweet corn. The age-old saying, you've got to do it in a block for the wind pollination. How do you do yours then? If you got some dotted around?
Baby corn doesn't need to be block pollinated.
Oh, baby corn, right? Okay, yeah.
Or the sweet corn, it's near enough. I'd mix the two together because they can't cross pollinate, because the baby corns doesn't really matter. I'll just do in little chunks, like 3 or 4 here and 3 or 4 there. They're close enough really to pollinate. And I've got an allotment as well, so it's not the end of the world if they don't produce loads, because they go out the front and the allotment as well. So, but I like to have a bit of everything everywhere.
That's great.
Squeeze it in.
Daniel just said about that mint. Tell us about the Indian mint? That sounds really good. I love it.
Indian mint, yeah, it's really easy to grow from cuttings. You can buy it really cheaply in plug plants, and then once you've got it, you've always got it. And literally, you just cut it off, take the lower leaves off, drop it in water for a few days. It'll root, and then you stick it in compost, and then you've got a plant. But it gets to about 1 metre long, tiny little, like crescent leaves, and they have little tiny white flowers on. Nice to drink. It's nice, it's crushed up. And mint keeps flies away from your door for some strange reason. Don't know why it works. So it's hanging down every trough down the side path. So you kind of brush past it as you walk, which is quite nice to.
It
and it's a little bit, but
smells
it always
and tastes like normal mint. It's not like
it's just a trailing mint, but it hangs rather than trails. They're great in hanging baskets as well. They just drop. They don't kind of poke out. It just drops.
Right.
Because there's not that much room down the side of the house. So I didn't want anything, you're going to catch yourself clothes on or anything. So it just literally grows maybe half an inch, and then it just goes, and the weight of it just takes it all down. So I was cutting it off the path. It grew down the wall and was growing along the path. It got over 1 metre.
I'll definitely
don't grow anywhere
get some of that.
Get to the ground, otherwise it'll root.
Well, it's a concrete path, so it could try. But at which point, actually, I got so lazy, I cut bits off and tied it in a little band, and I dropped it in the trough pond for a few days to root. And I was supposed to put my finger in the soil and just popped it back in again. So it's the easiest thing to grow.
Sounds good.
You just pump it in. I like easy things. But most plants here, they're either from seed, divisions, or bare rooted. I don't buy many plants as a plant from the garden centre because of cost. I can't afford to do all this. We're going to the garden centre, so it's either bare rooted, division, or from seed.
That's the thing. To get what you've got now in one season, basically, isn't it? 1 year, it costs a
It'll be
fortune.
hundreds.
Fortune to go and buy it all as decent sized pot plants.
Well, when we moved house, it was a lorry and a van to move us the house, and then it was 2 lorries to move the garden. Because I literally got Aaron to dig up my whole back garden I had before, and with the garden furniture and bits and bobs as well. So I brought lots with us. It didn't all survive because we had an awful winter, but a lot of the hostas and that all pulled through. And some things are still in their pots because I didn't think they were strong enough to go in and cope with the clay soil. So they got potted up into some really good plant grow compost. And they're still growing in their pots. So they'll go in this year. So yeah, the biggest expense here, I bought 2 tons of topsoil, which I think cost me £90, and then I tied that in with the plant grow 2 bags, the big dump bags that arrived. So my poor parents and my son had to spread out 4 ton of soil and compost over the front because the clay is blue clay. Nothing's going to go into that as a young plant and make it. And then the screen, and I haven't really spent much big money apart from that. I mean, William planted 18 bare root trees the other day. I think they cost me £25.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, you said that. When did you said that on another live in the week, didn't you?
I think Lexi might have mentioned it.
That's it, Lexi. Yeah.
So I planted 5 silver birch trees that were cheap, and then Will's did the ones in the ground for me. So, but the silver birches are going in pots on the wall down the side of the house for 2 or 3 years because they're only 1 metre and a bit tall. And then I planted 2 in a really big pot to multi-stem, so they'll never reach their full potential. And then when the other ones are too big for the pots they're in, if they ever build behind us in the field, which they keep trying to do, I'll plant them to go in as trees. And if they don't, then they'll go in as a big multi-stem, so they'll get big, but they'll never get the chance to go stupidly big.
No.
We've got 22 oak saplings to go in for a hedge.
Oak
And
hedge.
yeah, completely free. And 6 horse chestnut trees, which are going to be container grown, so they won't get the chance to be big monsters. They'll like be bonsai'd on a big scale.
Just shows
Because I saw somebody,
if you know what
somebody
you're
on
doing.
Gardener's World did it. Someone did it on Gardener's World years ago. They had there's a famous street in London. They've got the alley gardens all the way down, and it's all in containers.
Yeah.
And they had a horse chestnut tree for about 15 years,
Wow.
and it's beautiful. And I'm like, well, I'm going to do that. So rather than getting 1, I got 6 because that's what. So yeah, I got the oak hedge because it's very wet, and apparently oak likes it wet, and they're eager to go, and it will feed the squirrels. And then we've just planted. I directed an alder hedge as well, so because that likes it wet, and apparently alder supports the most insect life out of all hedges.
Oh.
So that's what I'm trying
So
to do.
where's the hedge go? The oak hedge is going to be right up between you and the field.
Yeah, the fence is coming out. But someone put in like a 5.5 foot fence so you can't see.
Oh.
I mean, why'd you do that and block off? So we've got there's a rowan tree and a dead tree on purpose on the edge because that's when the owl sits during the night and the woodpecker sits during the day. And we've got some stock fencing to go in. So a hedgehog size, so the hedgehog can come through, but nothing else can because there's badgers and foxes out there, so the badger can't get through. And then the oak will grow through it, and then when that fencing eventually fails, it won't matter because hopefully the hedge will be enough.
Yeah.
And it's being planted on an angle, so it'll grow a bit like a laid hedge.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're all.
So it will shoot that way.
So then you cut it.
Yeah, the trunk will mature at a slight angle, and then it'll shoot up, so that'll fatten up to give it the fat base to go up. I did that.
I suppose you have to
years
keep on
ago,
top of that quite a bit.
Yeah, and I can while it's tiny, and then Aaron will when it's a bit better. But I did it years ago at work, and it worked really, really well. And it's just layering without quite layering it. You just push it over to its limit. And also, they reach the sun, don't they? So the shoots just go straight up, and then those matured really quite nicely. So I did that, crikey, 10, 12 years ago, where I used to work, and it worked really well.
Fantastic. Tell us about where you got all your knowledge from then. You said work, so what was work?
Well, I worked in the wrong career for a long time. I was a nursery nurse for a very long time. And then life took a change, and work had to change with it. So I worked with a friend doing some gardening and fell in love. And then I read every book I could get my hands on, magazine, YouTube, and then started to work on my own, and then got more people come up to me for work. And then I thought, I'm going to do my own little business. So I had it all planned. I was going to do garden maintenance and garden craft and like small scale plant sales, nothing silly because I'm on my own. And my health started to go a little bit downhill. I got a job at Chelsea Flower Show, and I was signed up to do a falconry course because I was going to do falconry to go with the gardening at the stately homes. And then health just went downward really quick, and I'm a hazard. So I got diagnosed on the Wednesday, and the business learn appointment was the Thursday. So I never went and did it, but I was that close. But that's okay. Well, I'd rather it happen than that than the other way around.
Yeah.
And lots of money, but yeah, and just books. Instagram's amazing, isn't it, for learning everything?
Well, definitely. So many knowledgeable people about.
Yeah. I mean, before we moved here, I never liked tropical plants or jungle plants. Never my thing. And the patio just lends itself so well to be jungly. And I wanted somewhere just green and natural. It's all very calming and all very, just complete chill out. And like bananas and things all lended themselves to being big and green and lush and stuff. And then I suddenly discovered, actually, I really like tropical plants. And then Marc, didn't you, got badgered by tetrapanics, which I got one.
Yeah.
And then I watched the odd YouTube video, and now I'm subscribed to I don't know how many of them. Joined some things on Facebook and other pages on here, and I've learned so much, and it's nuts. And then you suddenly realise you are answering people's questions.
Yeah. You
don't realise you've learned it, do you? And then all of a sudden someone asks a question, oh, I know that one. So exciting.
Sounds amazing.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And you've got
and then got the allotment
as well.
Allotment as well. The allotment is brand new. Well, it's a year old, but we haven't been on it because I got given the allotment 2 or 3 weeks before my daughter's operation, so never got a chance to go up there. And then because it's such a big op and she couldn't get in the car and all sorts, so we just didn't go. We managed to put a small pond in. I seem to have a bit of a pond problem, don't I? Where I go, there's multiple ponds. But it's just at the minute black plastic with a bit of clover and the verbena. So this year is a year of the pond, of the allotment.
Oh,
my downstairs loo is full of bare root fruit trees. The kids like, what? Why are they in here?
Why not?
And there's somewhere cool, somewhere dark. I've got lots of fruit hedging to go in as well, and just started seed sowing. So this will be the year of the allotment.
Fantastic.
I don't do normal allotments. I don't do straight lines. I don't do rows. I don't do groups. It's literally they're all mixed in. Flowers with trees, with shrubs, with veg, with fruit is all intertwined. There's no fruit cages or nets or sprays or nothing. It's just a jungle.
It's the way forward.
Yeah. Do you know, it looks after itself so much. That's how our old garden was. And everyone was saying about the slug damage and stuff. You're like, oh, I haven't got any. Well, not any. I had some, but you know, it was hardly any. Is it all just looked after itself? I mean, it took the old house took about 2 years to get the perfect balance, and then wildlife just did it all for me. I didn't touch it.
I suppose when you've got the same thing, when you've got ponds, you're going to get frogs and God knows what they love the slugs.
We have frogs, newts, grass snakes, hedgehogs, garden birds. We had sparrowhawk. We had buzzards come in sometimes. You know, voles. There's the odd rat that came in, but that's how you got the other birds to come in with it. So, but then again, I hardly ever lost anything to them, and I broke all the walls. And there was tomatoes growing next to potatoes, and there was fennel growing in with all the stuff that everyone says don't grow it near anything. Like it's all cheap by jowl. Chuck it in. Sink or swim.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Life's too short, isn't it, to be tidy and things. And I just loved watching the bees dance from one plant to the next. And you go and try and find something for tea. You've got to, do your old going through the undergrowth to try and find what's out there. No,
I know what you mean.
I loved it,
but I'm a bit neat with my allotment.
Everyone's different, aren't they? What they enjoy.
Yeah, I like
I did
the
warn
structure, I
them when I
suppose.
took it on. I did say to them when I took it on, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. It's not. It's not going to be like any of these.
But it's not as if it's
All
going
my
to
neighbours
be.
are.
It's not going to be full of weeds, is it? Everything's going to be
No.
plants.
There will be the odd weed. Nettles. I've planted nettles in tubs here to take. I know that's a bit weird, but they'll be grown in tubs at the allotment, so they can't spread.
Yeah.
But that's where your butterflies will go.
Yeah.
That's where your ladybirds will go. And black fly love nettles.
Yeah.
So they can have them and stay off my beans. Dandelions are left to go. I don't mind about a dandelion. Dock. I love dock because it's a feed. Make a feed out of dock.
Yeah.
What are the weeds? Yeah. So not many. I don't bindweed. Obviously, it's a big fat juicy. Thanks.
Yeah.
Couch grass. That's not really welcome, but there is mare's tail there. But you can make a blight spray out of that if you wanted to.
Oh, mare's tail.
Yeah, if you boil it and then let it cool down, the waxy coating that's on the plant that protects it goes into the water, and apparently you can spray your tomatoes with it, and then it keeps the blight from going on.
Oh.
Got plenty of that at work.
Oh yeah.
It's everywhere.
So it's just,
yeah, it's the one thing I can't bring a plant home from the allotment because I don't want to bring that back here.
No.
Definitely not.
So you said you had fennel, sunflowers, tomatoes, and squash all grown together because half of it's self-sowed. Exactly. Last year I had sunflowers growing through my tomatoes outside because the sunflowers are so self-sown. I just left them.
Sunflowers make a fantastic support for plants because they're so strong. And I always think, have you guys have found that self-sown plants are always so much stronger than the ones that you put in?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
bloody boragers.
there's a volunteer one there. I tend to leave it.
Borage.
I plant borage. I literally go around with seeds of borage.
I did 2 years ago. I'm never doing it again.
See, I love it. I've got it. It's in my sewing pile over there. I love borage.
I do love it.
Blue and
it's
white.
nice. But it
Blue
just
and white. I'll just both.
took over the whole bed. It's quicker than pull it out. It just keeps coming back.
It's prickly, so it keeps some of the animals off. But the pollinators love it. But because it spews over, doesn't it? It gets a bit heavy, doesn't it? And flops over.
Yeah.
When I had all my brassicas in, my butterflies couldn't find them because all the other plants are in the way.
Yeah.
And I let them flop. And the brassica enjoyed the shade from the plant, and the butterflies never really found the brassicas.
What's that? Who just said that? Plot 9 BO mare's tail. I pick the green shoots and stew it up for tea. Mare's tail tea. Wow.
I have heard of people doing that.
Yeah, I've heard that it's the new shoots in the year that you can have, like before they open out.
Oh, okay. It's a bit like when you eat costas, isn't it? That's the very first shoot that comes up, isn't it? You've got to get it when it's young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff you can eat that you don't know, and you just think it's a garden plant. So much stuff, and stuff that we've forgotten about as well that people used to eat, and we just don't do it anymore.
I've got some pond rush plants because you can eat the roots of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I heard
and
someone else saying about that the other day as well.
It's in Lucy's book, which I think
Lucy, of course it was. Yes, Lucy saying it. Yeah.
Lucy's book.
Yeah.
There's a fantastic nursery I found online, and they do plug plants in soil blocks, and there's a lot of plants on there that they say you can eat. It's kind of going back to how we used to do things.
Yeah.
And you eat the roots of this, or you eat the young leaves of that, and it's quite interesting that we seem to have forgotten. You can eat half your flower bed if you've got the right plants. You just So it's like taro. I'm going to grow taro bulbs in the jungle gardens. You can eat, because if you want to, you can harvest a bulb. So it's I've got some artichokes to put in at the allotment.
Another bloody thing I wish I'd put in.
I've never tried one. I got given the young plants last year, and there's in pots because I never got a chance to put them in at the allotment. But they're in the. I've got a crate by the back gate of things I'm keep popping in. So I'm hoping they'll go in, because they should be. Apparently, they're a good windbreaker.
Oh, they're huge, yeah.
The big tall things.
Massive.
Strong.
They're about
So
8 or 9 foot tall, mine were.
yeah.
Oh,
So
and still
apparently they can be a
half of
good
them.
windbreaker.
Mm. But in
So,
saying
do you like
that,
to
mine got blew over, so might not be that good.
give it a go.
Quite exposed, really.
They are only like they're sunflowers, aren't they? So they just
Yeah. The sunflowers. I like the way you can harvest a bit and then still have it still comes back, with a vengeance next year. I like plants that fend for themselves a bit.
Oh God, yeah. I've had hundreds and hundreds of tubers out, but they'll still come back next year.
Oh really?
Mm.
Never get rid of them.
I took a friend of mine a bucket full. She's a chef, and they'll still be there next year. Honestly.
Oh really?
Mm.
And your dog ate half them.
The dog still keeps eating them, keeps digging them up.
Do they have the same effect?
Yes, it's absolutely horrendous. Horrendous. Not as if the dog farts aren't bad enough anyway.
And Labrador ones.
Yeah. Terrible. Absolutely horrendous.
Well, do your dogs pinch food at the garden? No.
I think Dash, the only thing he'd go for is tomatoes because they're like balls, but other than that, he's not interested. But I think once he bit into it, he'd be like, "Oh, that's not a ball."
Bramble picks them off. She sees really gently, and she just pulls it and then plucks them. Cucamelons were the worst ones 2 years ago. I ain't grown them since, but she would just sit and eat cucamelons off the vine so gently, just pulling them off, each individual cucamelons.
Do you like cucamelons?
Nah.
No. Do you like?
I've never tried them.
Right, they don't taste so great. They're just little mini cucumbers, really.
Yeah, I quite like them.
They're all right.
It's one of those things you've got to pick at the right time, aren't they? Because they're a bit too early, they're horrible.
I reckon you shouldn't pick them. You should let them drop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's when they just...
I did a little like tomato squeeze on them. It did a little bit of give, then I picked it.
Yeah. I heard someone say on, don't know, it might have been Garden's Question Time or something. Yeah, let them drop. And they do drop. And they're just slightly soft. And they've probably got the most melon flavour, but there's not much melon flavour.
No.
I don't think.
It's one of the novelty things. Just give it a go, isn't it?
Yeah. And I put about 6 vines in all in one place. There were millions of them. I suppose it'd be worth one, just growing one up down the greenhouse. It'd be all right. You can have a few, but there was absolutely bloody million of them. I
think I did one every other tomato plant, and I let them grow up the tomato.
Yeah. To
save, I've seen it somewhere. This chap lets them grow up through the tomato plant to save you putting in a structure.
Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it?
So maybe, I don't know, down one side of the thing, so maybe 4 or 5. But it took me forever to try and find it how I like them, because they're either too small and hard, or too soft and not a very nice experience. So it's a bit of a. But yeah, right. I'm just trying to figure out. So do you do what's going to be your new crop? Are you doing a new one this year? Anyone? A new crop?
I don't know yet. I've gone doing. I've got some of this storage tomatoes from She Grows Veg. I'm really looking forward to those. I've got 3 different varieties of those. It's supposed to be really good, and they do store. If they're not damaged, they'll store for months. So I'm really excited about those, because I just can't. I don't eat tomatoes unless they come out of the greenhouse.
No, I'm saying.
Don't buy them.
That you leave on the vine and they just dry.
Well, they don't dry Oh, I know they stay, but they're still fresh. They're still juicy and whatever. But they're just, I guess they'll be the skins will be a bit bullet hard, won't they? But yeah,
unless
looking
it's
forward to that.
seasonal, I don't buy it. I don't buy supermarket veg.
Yeah.
So I'll only eat tomatoes in the summer and cucumber. I don't do anything out of the season.
Yeah.
But it's just trying to grow enough, isn't it, to keep you going, and then trying to find somewhere to store it all.
Yeah.
When you get gluts, I went into my little hot hut this morning where all my pumpkins are, and I've got about 6 gone mushy. So I'm really gutted about
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Pretty gutted about that, but
I
never
love
mind.
pumpkin. It's one of my favourite vegetables, pumpkin.
Yeah. Pumpkins and squash are good.
Mine are in here.
They're still good.
Oh, nice.
That's George's tea. Steph tea.
Oh, cool. What's Marc got?
Where's Daddy's tea? They are, Crown Prince. Brilliant.
Have you got a favourite pumpkin?
And the dogs.
Oh,
Crown Prince is my favourite for flavour. Absolutely delicious.
Crown Prince.
Yeah, really is.
And autumn prince and strawberry prince are nice as well.
Oh, I know them ones.
Autumn's not as strong, but nice, and strawberry's a bit sweeter.
Oh, right, okay. Fantastic.
I love them.
Lovely.
Hopefully it'll be a good year for growing pumpkins.
Will be.
Fingers crossed.
Once you get your black gold in.
How's the garden coming on, Marc?
It's drier than it was, which is good. So, yeah. I was faffing around with willow at the weekend, so I didn't get much of the veg garden done, really. But I had more chipping to do. Yeah, the archway and the tunnel and the dome. Slowly weaving it all back in and chopping off all the extra bits. It's quite a long task, but it is nice to do. It's because you're just working your way along, and it's quite a mindful task. Yeah. And when you look back at what you've done, it looks so much better, so much tidier.
Yeah, rewarding, isn't it? When I was working as a gardener, I did a gardening club at my kids' school, and 2 afternoons a week, and they did everything. They designed it, dug it, planted it, they did everything. But they had a big willow dome, and obviously they couldn't go too small to reach up. Yeah. And that was one of my tasks, to try and go up there and weave it back through and cut it and things. Yeah. There's a lot of it, isn't there, Marc?
Definitely. But
you just need to keep on going.
More of it back in elsewhere, so the more willow in my garden, the better.
Yeah, definitely. Could you grow like a willow hedge, and weave it as it goes along?
Well, I'm in between the two, because our garden is like, ours is the only one that's divided up, and we've got a wire fence in between, and that all the posts are rotten. So what I'm trying to do there is I'm putting in one section of it, I'm going to put a willow and weave it. I think I'm going to do something different to crosses, but yeah, I've just been shoving the willow in at the moment. When I've been cutting it off any extra bits, I've been shoving it in so that it'll root. And then at the point I'll go back, and when I've got time, I'll weave it into something. But it's just getting it in the ground.
Yeah.
So it's going. But yeah, the more willow I can get in, the better, because it'll help.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'd rather do that.
It's a willow in here, but the foundations to next door and that are too close.
Okay.
So I didn't dare. And next door's oil tank is right nearby, so I didn't want to upset. Didn't fancy having that foundation.
Definitely not.
So,
No.
So my willow's in a big pot.
Which is fine. It's a good thing to do with willow. It's perfectly fine in a pot.
Yeah, I wanted it for the early pollinators to come out and have something to eat. So I really wanted some, but I just don't put it in. So
The wasps
it's,
really like it as well, don't they, for the late nectar that it gives off?
I love wasps. I'm one of the few people who really love wasps.
They're all pollinators.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they do so much good work. I mean, my old polytunnel, it's only one of those little green zippy ones. It's about, I don't know, 2 meters long. And I had wasps in there, and I was like, oh no, you get a bit worried. And actually, it's like they get to learn who you are and that you are no risk.
Yeah.
And when I came in with the watering can, I had a little saucer on the floor so I could water them at the same time. And it's like they knew, and they come down for a drink. And you literally just watched them like stealth hunt all the flies and things in the polytunnel, like right in front of you. And it's fascinating to watch. And actually, I found myself going in there to watch the wasps.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned, don't fret and don't squat and don't do all this. And they sat on your hand and whatever, and they didn't care. So I've got a newfound love for wasps.
Wow. Right, Jenny. I don't know why you were worried about coming on and not having nothing to say, but you've had plenty to say, and thank you very much.
Sorry,
But we're going to have to kick you
I
out.
talk too much.
We're going to kick you
No,
out
do.
because Daniel's going to come in and have half an hour with us.
Oh yeah, definitely. What do I press
All right.
now?
The crosses.
The cross, or Marc will kick you out.
Thanks
Thanks
coming
ever so
on.
much. It's been brilliant.
Lovely
Thanks, Jenny.
Chat.
Thank you.
Speak to you later.
There you go.
Brilliant. Joe,
Jenny.
Crown Prince climbed as well as anything else. Really good. And it's really strong. I had a massive one last year and it, no problem whatsoever. Well, I've got a massive one this year as well.
I think a few people were asking about pond plants. And yes, I think depending on the size of the pond, the plants will oxygenate it, but you've got to get the right balance of pond plants. So if you go to buy pond plants from any reputable place, they'll be able to talk you through how many of each type of plant you need to oxygenate a certain size of pond.
Oh,
So you
wow.
don't need a pump in a pond. You can do it with plants.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never thought about a pond, but I suppose I could squeeze something in.
It's definitely something I want to add because it's the basis of all life. If you've got water in your garden, there's so much more that can turn up because you've got that water. So it's definitely worth having, even if you like a little container of like a barrel pond or something like that. It'd be as small as that.
Yeah. Where's Daniel?
Let's get Daniel in. Yes, Lincolnshire pond plants are brilliant. Really good advice, and they're always at the shows.
What up?
Hello,
Good
mate.
evening.
Hello.
How you doing?
It'll be a very low standard, but I'm still alive.
Hey.
Yeah, I've been incredibly busy at work. Can't remember a time when I wasn't busy at work. But yeah, well, here's some things that I've resonated with what Jenny was saying. First of all, we've got the same mug. What are the odds about that? And then the other thing is related to ponds. So ponds, I think, are one of the most diverse sort of things that you can introduce into your garden. So when people say build habitat for wildlife and stuff like that, what some research found, and I can't remember where I've read this, is ponds offer a very interesting sort of mix of habitats, offer sort of water, underwater, edge of the water. So you're looking at amphibians and sort of things that go in and out, and then has an effect on everything that is outside of the pond. So say keeping overall ambiental moisture and so on. So there's I can't remember her name, but there's a plant expert on Gardener's Question Time. Her almost constant answer to what to do to increase biodiversity in my garden would
Put a
be
pond in.
put a pond in.
Yeah.
But I don't know why Mark was saying earlier about he's thinking of putting one in his garden. Isn't that kind of like half of your garden already?
It's a shame it's seasonal. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
The time
pond-
that you actually need it.
What ponds have you got at work then, Daniel?
So I've got, first of all, a 19-acre man-made dam. I believe it's 19 acres. Now that I'm saying it out loud, yeah, I think it is 19 acres, for which I'm responsible in terms of dam management. But this also is covered under the SSSI as a habitat for, in particular, birds, because this pond creates a little bit of bog, fen, wet woodland, and deep-ish water. So you have things that are sort of 60 centimeters deep kind of spots. But also you have shallow water and spaces where birds that kind of want to sit in water but don't want to float necessarily in water would go there. So we're not far away from RSPB Middleton Lakes. They used to belong to the same estate back in the day. So some of the birds that find Middleton Lakes too deep would be at Middleton Pool, where I am. This basically means that we have a lot of sort of diversity of bird species in there. I do wish there would be more predatory birds. I'll be honest, because I can tell squirrels have been a big problem at Middleton. But yeah, we've got that. We've got some ditches that of a winter flood. So that they used to be part of an old tree avenue, a Georgian tree avenue that had Middleton Pool on one side, a ditch, and the ditch was a barrier to stop deer from coming onto the property.
Right.
So it had a higher bank and at different times, but then we're not entirely sure when was this particular time. It had like wood panels or fencing on the higher point of this. So this is a temporary pond in that sense, because as the water level rises, we are, I kind of want to say, almost opposite to what Jenny is on. We're on gravel. So when water level rises, it rises very quickly. When it drops very quickly, because there's not much resistance and absorption happening. So there's that temporary pond, about, I don't know, 300-400 meters long, ditch. Probably at the widest point where you have water is maybe 2.5-3 meters wide, and that will be maybe a meter deep when it's sort of full-ish. So quite a significant temporary pond over winter. But I'm looking at creating more water features as well. So we have a main water feature in the walled garden, but this year it looked horrendous because of the fact that we've seen great crested newts in there. But this coincided with the pond has been planted, and some of the plants have created cracks in the lining, which means the water level drops. But because of the great crested newt, I can't turn on the fountain, I can't top it up, I can't fix it, I can't do anything. I want to create a better habitat for them, but I couldn't touch it, basically.
Oh no.
So it was really unfortunate, particularly for people who have weddings over there. You know, they want a water feature that looks nice, but then I'm like, sorry mate, if I turn this fountain on, I probably will be, you know, could face legal challenges natural England. So yeah, so that has been a challenge this year. But what I've done, and we've seen loads of dragonfly, was three pots, all three plastic pots that had holes in them. They are decentish sizes. They have pots in them, but I've used hot glue to fill in the holes, and I've put in some water lilies in there, and what they created for visitors was this experience of approaching a water lily and seeing it up close, because that is not an experience that you get very often, because you're either in the water wet to actually see it that close, and this, because it's in a pot next to a bench, people can kind of have their interaction up close with flowering water lilies. So that created a lot of conversation about habitats and water and all of that. And right at the beginning of the summer, there's a lot of algae in there, but as soon as water lily puts more leaves, that is kind of kept at bay in the pot. So that has been an interesting experience to see birds land on the water lily pads, to see all sorts of insects landing there to get a sip of water in there, and in particular dragonflies. We've seen quite a wide range of dragonflies, and I've even spoken to one of the RSPB dragonfly surveyors that was dealing with a dragonfly survey last year, and he said it looks like we have a very healthy population. So that's a good sign on that side.
Yeah, I like the idea of that. You're right, because what if you see a water lily? It's normally in the middle of a pond. You know, you can see it from 10 meters away or whatever, but to be able to get right close up to it must be amazing.
Yeah, it is, and what I find interesting is the fact that they open and close at night.
Oh wow!
And then you start the morning and it's sort of like fist closed, and then by sort of midday it's wide open, and then as the light kind of draws in, it folds and then goes back in when it sort of finishes its life cycle, and then the next one comes up, and so on. So
Really nice.
yeah, and they also, even the flowers, not just the leaves, have that sort of coating that repels water. So even if you have a bit of rain or whatever, they still look pretty decent for how the ones that we have in terms of Jenny's question is quite mild. I am trying, and this is for conservation purposes, but this is a different situation, which probably a load of people can replicate, is on Middleton Pool we have a protected species of white water lily, Nymphea alba. This is the only native water lily. This used to be, we don't know exactly when it started, but it used to be grown for the floristry industry in the UK. And apparently some plants either ended up in South Africa from Middleton, in South Africa and Australia. But it used to be harvested and then sent to, in particular, like big hotels and the Ritz and stuff like that. Back in the day, sort of ended around Second World War, if I remember correctly. But this one is supposed to be very strongly and sweet-scented water lily. Now, unfortunately, all the crop on Middleton Pool disappeared when M6 Sol was built, or around the time M6 Sol was built, and they reckon has to do with pollution, and it also has to do with another thing, and that is depth of water. So white water lily need a lot deeper water for them to thrive. So they need at least sort of 1.20 meters ish in terms of depth. Now, as they disappear from Middleton Pool, we were sort of like, what do we do about this? It should have been a conservation issue for us, but you know, as a small trust, when this happened, they couldn't do much about it. But then in 2000 and I believe 11, 3 clumps appeared further down the moat of white water lily.
Wow.
So whether they've been washed down, whether they go dormant, I've no clue. So these were the only 3 clumps that are quite close to one another. And then this year, in spring, I saw one while I was doing dam maintenance. I've seen one growing in Middleton Pool. So there's 4 now. But from one of the 3, I've taken 3 cuttings last autumn. No, 2 autumns ago. And I've put them in a pot, and I put them in my water buds that collects rainwater, because that is deep enough for it to grow. It's not necessarily as wide as it should, because it needs a lot of leaves out there. But so far, they've been growing there. Now, what I find strange is that my strongest stem one, so my biggest clump, that is in the biggest water bud, is like I think 300-liter barrel kind of thing. Didn't die this winter, so it didn't lose all its leaves.
Oh wow!
Oh,
So I don't know if it has to do with where it is, whether it's sheltered or not, but it still had leaves even with a layer of frozen water on top of the water buds.
Oh wow!
And I've checked on Tuesday morning, and it was still green and strong, said leaf. So I'm very
Wow.
impressed by that, because they normally die during winter and then come back. So hoping that this just puts more energy into the tuber, into the clump, and then I believe it's a tuber. The leaves, the roots are rather different, but I don't know what they class as. Maybe as a clump rather than a tuberous one. So yeah, that's in terms of conservation purposes. We have 3 of those clumps, 2 in a small tub, but at least I'm growing them, and then 1 in the 300-liter one, which also means that you know, loads of people can grow water lilies in their water pots.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Can you split them, Daniel? If there's like a clump and they get big, can you split them?
Yes, so that's how I got it. We were trying to push back the reeds on the moat, and what we've done is kind of like almost looks like a grass clump. So loads of things coming in terms of stem and leaf, also a bigger center. And again, I haven't studied this, which one is, whether that is considered tuber or stem. And then they have quite sort of, the roots are quite similar to grass roots, sort of wiry, probably would be a good description. I mean, other water lilies that we have on Middleton Pool, they're the yellow water lilies, and these ones grow on almost, they look like cucumber on tubers, and these tubers are quite long and they float, and that's how they kind of take over certain areas. But said tubers have like holes in it, like canals, where they kind of chamber for oxygen, so they can float. But they also can live in kind of like muddy situations and so on. So I've just realized that probably someone is now searching for meter deep water containers. I'm sorry for giving people homework now.
Giving Jenny ideas.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah,
one thing
definitely.
that I would love to get is some sort of filtration container where to grow reeds that are in sort of gravel, and so creating essentially a reed bed, but just a little bit of higher elevation. So whatever is filtered through by the reeds will go in a normal water butt, while the reeds will still filter things coming from the roofs. And I'm sorry, Natalie. I'm sorry. Yeah, I will try and implement that in an area that we're developing at Middleton, but this is kind of going to be around sort of late summer project, because Natalie will know how much work this still needs to be done before we even open to the public, let alone have other stuff growing and looking after them.
What else has been going on then at Middleton?
Well, we've had probably one of the busiest years that we've had on record.
I've noticed.
The team had experienced a lot of changes in terms of top management, trustees. The core team is still the same, and we've probably became better at understanding the site, understanding how the site engages with people, how people engage with the site, and so on. Which meant that as we got into the year, we've sort of put a lot more events, put a lot more engagement out there, increased the volunteering number, and yeah, it was an incredibly busy year. But this, judging by kind of what the calendar looks like, it's going to be an even busier year. Yeah. That being said, we've got some really cool stuff happening. So one of them is we're opening this year a lot sooner than we normally are. So we've been working on planting loads of bulbs. So we've changed a lot of areas, we've tied up areas, we've introduced more plants. We've planted about 5,000 bulbs and then 75 kilos of daffodil bulbs of variety ones. Wow. We've completely changed multiple areas, cleared new areas, established new areas. So this year, what it will mean is that we're opening approximately 6 weeks in terms of first opening day, 6 weeks before our regular opening time. However, we're only opening at the weekends in February, but it's still, for a site that's closed six months a year, you're looking at last year, we've pushed it all the way till beginning of November, and then we're opening back in February. So that period when we close is getting shorter and shorter. But we are doing three new things. One is we're increasing volunteer days. So currently we only have 2 volunteering days, a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Friday. And we're thinking of adding Wednesday. We're playing with 2 ideas for Wednesday, and Wednesday might be the day when we sort of get people in there who want more than just to socialize and work in there in the garden, people who want to learn. So it might be a more sort of theory and practice, kind of almost like going on a course. We get a lot of interest from people, wanting to learn more about gardening and wanting to be better at it and understanding this. We've increased anyway volunteer numbers, so I think currently we're down to 34 volunteers for over 2 days, so roughly 12 ish per day. 16 per day, 15, 16 per day, and sometimes people swap. If they can't come on a Thursday, they'll come on a Friday, and sort of. But it could be anywhere between 12 and 16 sort of people on a day. And the other good thing is we are hiring. So we're looking for a part-time gardener. There was a lot of work in the background, like a lot of work to make this a possibility. Um,
I remember
and
last
it's
time you were on, you said you wanted an apprentice.
yeah,
So that's taken nearly a
yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah. So basically, what this would mean is that we're looking for someone to work 3 days a week. Someone who will work sort of alternative. So I'll work a weekend. This person will work a weekend, and then the other week we're overlapping during the week, which means that we can do better in terms of volunteering and investing in our volunteers. By the way, shout out to Middleton Hall and Garden volunteers. Made their absolutely amazing group of people.
Yeah.
In their journey, all their stories and stuff that they put out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's really
yeah,
good.
you see more of that online. So you have Rachel Middleton volunteer. You have Jen who's
Love
joining.
watching Jen Taff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see the drive to learn more. You see Natalie's posts as well. So and potentially on Friday, I will have a new volunteer coming who's interested in posting and kind of quite engaged on social media. So she was saying whether it's all right for her to post about the things that we're doing in Middleton. And I said by all means, just perfect. So, but you know, in terms of this person, it will be I think the first time in the history of the trust, so in 40 years plus, when there were more than one paid gardeners. So we're making progress. There's another post as well for visitor assistant in there, so that will be probably the largest team that we've ever had as a trust. I did say we were very busy, and we'll continue to be very busy. The site is moving forward, moving at a speed that is very hard to catch up and stay on track with things. And if you miss a job, it's sort of like bye bye till next year because I won't be able to get to that section again. But
The thing, isn't it?
yeah, but I mean that's for Middleton is kind of like almost the standard thing. There's such a large space, and
How big is it
unless
again?
42 acres of land. I was 19 of them are Middleton Pool. You have a large section that is under triple SI, so have to deal with natural England, which they are not helpful. I think I would do a far better job looking after wildlife on my own than having to go through the bureaucratic sort of. I do understand their purpose there, but you know, it's just so slow. And when you need decisions on the ground, like just you know, you just need to crack on. Yeah, I've had an email sent to request permission to do work, so that is to clear bramble and cut our orchard and all of those. And it took 10th of October when I've applied, and I received permission on the 7th of January. And our neighbors, Middleton Pool, Middleton Lakes, RSPB Middleton Lakes, they had a request, and it took them 7 months to reply. But by that time, the job was too late, so they need to wait 12 more months. So, but with that in mind, there's a lot of acreage. There's more work on, say, the dam and dam management for Middleton Pool. We've got a nice area that I was very enthusiastic to get it done over winter, to have it open to the public in spring, a woodland that has almost like 3 separate rooms to the woodland with different kind of fields and habitat and moisture levels, and that is quite a special place. It's not open to the public at the moment, but we just need to, you know, cut brambles and push back and create sort of paths and things like that, just to make sure that, you know, if people visit or, you know, kids run through, they don't break a leg or, you know, stuff like that. We don't want any of that in there. But yeah, unfortunately, it's just not going to be opening in time for opening, but it's still part of the work. Jan has been involved with mapping all the trees, and we'll find a way to or where best to kind of create structures. I want to give the land the sort of voice to say, you know, this is where you put a path, this is where you put something else, rather than, you know what, I'm just gonna plow my way through a bunch of woodland. Just allow sort of natural flow, and that to take place, because that the place is already beautiful, is what I'm trying to say. So it's just following the instinct of where animals have passed, and there's a little bit of path and so on, just to create said environment. And there'll be amazing space for walkers, amazing space for dog walkers, and all sorts of events like painting or meditation or foraging or all those things that could happen in a safe space.
Lovely.
But it's quite a beautiful space. It has loads and loads of potential. It just needs a bit of working there, but unfortunately we've just not been able to do so.
Have you got snowdrops coming out?
Yeah, we've got snowdrops coming out. We've seen in some places daffodils just about coming. We've seen, which I find very strange, tulips.
Wow.
Out. Yeah, so that to me is strange, because Natalie and I planted them, I think it was final day prior to Christmas. And I've got loads of tulips out. It's crazy. I can't explain it. Some I've kept in the greenhouse, on a bottom shelf away from sunlight, some outside. Both of them, both the ones that were in, both the ones that are out, they have, you know, about this much growth on them. So I just can't explain. And they were pretty deeply planted, so that's not.
What would that be then? Is it the soil's really warm or something?
Your guess is as good as mine.
We've had cold, well, haven't we? We've had a few, you know, we had 2 weeks of really cold weather.
Yeah, yeah, and they were growing in cold weather. Like on some of the pots I had, I put the tray at the bottom of the pot, flipped on the top, so kind of protected from mice, just like you had issues with your lasagna pots. And on some I couldn't lift that. I saw sort of leaves pushing that off the plant, and I just couldn't take it off because the whole thing was frozen. So, and they were still growing. I've no idea, but it might be that we have a lot of tulips in March, so it'll be a proper show in March.
Wow. Are they?
At least you'll be open.
Yes. Are they all the same batch then? Are they the same, bought at the same time from the same place?
Yeah, so they were bought at the same time from the same place. 2 places actually. Now that you say that, I'm trying to think whether I've got tulips from both places, because I got some from Farm Gracie, I got some from Dutch Bulbs. Spent a little bit over my 10% of my yearly budget on bulbs this year. So yeah, I've got a very small budget for Middleton, unfortunately. So yeah, so far on bulbs, I think we spent about close to £700, and my annual budget is £6,000.
Wow.
So
for a site that's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah,
ridiculous, isn't it?
Tools and petrol, as well as plants.
But so they want you to open longer. So you want.
So here's who's they.
Who's they?
One, the trust has the sort of responsibility to look after the site. Anyone, I mean, both Jen and Nats are here. Anyone who's been at Middleton during winter, they will say, "Mate, it's beautiful. We need to open." The challenge with that is primarily the walled garden, which is almost like a centerpiece for us.
Yeah.
Has been summer focus planted. So late spring to early autumn, that's the bulk of your planting in the walled garden. So because of that, I was the one who actually suggested, and I'm working out of my own initiative, for us to have more interest over winter, for two reasons. One, if you don't have things in bloom, pollinators might sort of move away over winter. So that's why in sort of middle of summer, I did make a massive call for some bulbs online, which some people have been very kind in donating. Is, you know, loads of things aren't in bloom at Middleton at winter. So I'm trying to kind of close that hunger gap for pollinators, to keep pollinators as long as possible. But then you have also this element of, because we're a small trust, you know, and said budget is the largest, one of the largest budgets on site. We just don't have a lot to spare. But what it means is that because we're shut for 6 months a year, or historically been closed for 6 months a year, there's no income coming to support the work doing. So by me working to push the opening time in terms of winter interest in winter, and push from the other side in spring, just means that we will have more income to continue developing the site, kind of thing. So in terms of the question of who's they, a large part of that is me, because my main interest is to sort of keep the gardens looking well, keep kind of the work there taking over, going over, getting more funds, more gardeners. The better the site will look, the more interest we'll have. And I'm still working on the same vision, which you've heard me mention multiple times online. I'm working towards turning Middleton Hall Gardens into a top horticultural destination in the Midlands. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to get to. That's where I'm aiming at. And obviously for that, I need more people on my team. I need more volunteers. I need more resources. I need more of those things to get the work done for the place to look, because the place has tremendous potential. It's the way it has been described is so accurate, a hidden gem of the Midlands. And it has so much potential. It's just slow in getting it because of low number of staff, low resources, and so on. So the spring bulb theme is circular, and the reason for circular is, apart from purchasing bulbs and some moss, majority, if not all, of the stuff has been repurposed and reused. So it's kind of like, as nature has a circular way of coming back in spring, there's so much excitement when it comes to things that we've used, anything from wood chip and logs to mark beds and parts and so on, to even the shape of the beds. Majority of spring bulbs have been planted in circular beds. We've created a whole new area with just beds, circular beds. And even the circular beds are in a bit of woodland that is in a semicircle. So all of these things are kind of connected to point back to kind of one thing that I've implemented at Middleton is kind of like, if it lived once, it can live again. Can we reuse stuff? Now there's risk with that of looking a little bit tacky, and I'm trying to move away from that. But say we've not had a fire at Middleton, like you see on a lot of horticultural sites, since February last year, because everything that we have that is woody will go on a dead hedge. Everything else will go in the compost. And in terms of wood, like, I will repurpose any bit of wood that I that I can, that is, say, you know, we have a bit of treated wood or whatever, like I cut into small pieces and put it underneath pots. So when I have different sized pots in the greenhouse, the plants don't touch because they're, you know, this much higher. You know, even to the point of how I'm using those things. I'm trying to be very mindful of like kind of how we use stuff and resources. I'm permaculturally trained. And I see that as kind of my main focus rather than horticulture in this sense. And the third principle of horticulture is return of the surplus. So earth care, number one, people care, number two, and return of the surplus. How can I reuse something and turn it back into something useful, give it back into nature? Is it a plant that I can compost? Or if I can't compost, we've recently got chickens. I'll feed it to chickens. They will break it down into pieces. They'll pull at it. They will scratch. They will all those things, turn it into fertilizer. I'm thinking of getting more things and creating soaks. Is soaks? It's not soaks. Like drown weeds, and then creating liquid sprays. See you actually on Friday.
See you now.
You know, and I'm trying to give life even to the kind of weeds that we get on site. So there's a lot more of that happening and changing, trying to move away into a more, I don't like to use the word sustainable because it's been so overused, but I'm trying to be mindful of how I'm using the resources, because we have a lot of natural resources, and want to be a good steward of that. So that's kind of how I'm working my way through these things.
Well, I would say that they are very lucky to have you running their garden, Daniel.
Thank you.
They really are. Just hearing you say about repurposing the piece of wood for under your pots and things is brilliant. Rather than going buying a new piece or buying some feet, or it's just
I have a joke. Working in Middleton makes you think like a pauper.
Well, why not? Why not use it all? It's better, isn't it?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Working
Yeah.
in any gardens like that, usually. I mean, I'm the same, and my boss is quite wealthy and likes to spend money, but I'd rather repurpose stuff and reuse, and there's so much available to us in a garden that we can reuse, and a lot of the time it'd just be chucked on a fire and burnt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. It's a good thing. You say your boss is quite wealthy and he don't mind spending it, but why buy new if you can use something and repurpose it?
Yeah.
No point.
Yeah.
100% whatsoever.
100%. We do live in a culture of sort of like quite quick turnover of things.
Big throwaway culture, isn't it?
Yeah. You just buy, a new phone. I had a conversation with someone after my contract finished, and the person on the phone was like, well, do you need a new phone because it has this and that, those features? And I was like, no, my phone is all right. Phone works. And that person just could not understand why I wasn't interested in the latest thing out there.
Yeah.
Phone works. That's fine by me.
They're all the same now. But last time I got a new phone, I was 5 years in between, and then I noticed a big difference.
Yeah,
with the cameras and things like that, but not every year. Well, there's no point. They're all the bloody same.
Yeah, for me it was 5 years, and the reason why it was 5 years and not longer is because I've smashed it so badly that a lot of features just didn't work. It was unintentional. I was walking and talking on the phone, and then I dropped my phone and I kicked it as I was walking with the screen down, and it went for a good 5-10 meters-ish, and it just completely wrecked the display. Not just the display, but like the connections, the joint, like you would see inside the phone.
Oh wow!
it was
We'll
yeah.
let you off, said Daniel. You can have a new phone.
I've had this phone for like since 2020, and it's working fine.
Yeah,
I have too many photos of plants on it though, and
haven't we
sometimes
all?
like that.
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
Ridiculous amount of photographs. It's absolutely crazy.
And videos and all sorts. Just
Oh,
plants, and some more plants.
yeah,
Yeah.
mental.
I've got loads of content that is just waiting to be posted, but I just don't. You know, Mark, I really admire how quickly you can just film something and post it. Like, I feel like I need to sit down to have a proper look at it, to edit it, to do all those things before I feel confident to just post something online.
Yeah, but you do realise Mark doesn't do anything at work, obviously.
If I stick it straight out there, I'll procrastinate, and then it won't ever get posted out there. So just stick it out there, and then it's done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, gentlemen,
I probably should do some more work.
I need to go. I'm ever so sorry. We could keep going and going again like normally, but I need to skedaddle. 9:15.
It was really, really good to see you both
Yeah.
and have a chat with you. I'm really happy to see you've come out of the surgery well.
Very much, mate. Thank you.
I've been in a different situation of like I was told 3 months for recovery and it was 8. So if you feel like you're gonna be down to 4 in 4 weeks, you'll be a lot better, mate. I'm so happy for you because the weight is just killing you. It's just
it's awful. It's absolutely horrendous. Yeah, and I feel I'm getting there now. The heart's good. That's the thing. The heart is good. I'm almost racing Teresa now when we go for our walks and things, and she's telling me to slow down now. So
you're flexing, you are.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just this bloody wound I got here, which is fixing. That's it.
Yeah.
That'll be good. But I know we said last time, but I will come to Middleton this year.
I did.
Won't we, Mark?
You were very close by, and you see this in the summer. But yeah, no worries. You're both welcome anytime. Just give me a heads up. Show you around for sure.
Awesome.
Have we got time for a lightning round or not, Jamie?
Yeah. Go on, then.
Oh yeah,
he didn't get it last time.
Didn't do lightning round when Daniel was on last time.
No, he didn't. No.
Questions.
Wow, no pressure.
First one: tea or coffee?
Coffee, although I've reduced a lot of caffeine.
Ooh.
I can't drink it yet.
But I drink tea as well. It's just herbal teas.
But I do all, just anything a lot of the time. But yeah, I have a couple of coffees a day. Flowers or edibles?
Oh my goodness! Like which is your favorite child?
Exactly.
Currently flowers, because you can eat some of the flowers.
Good idea. Beach or forest?
Forest.
Good choice. What's your go-to emoji on a text message?
Melting face.
If you could have one snack for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, fries. Do they count as snack?
Definitely.
Why not?
Finish the sentence. My perfect day would be.
Day out with my wife.
Yay.
I thought you'd choose that because some of the photos of you and your wife when you're out for the day are just like, just look so beautiful.
Holidays together are the best. Like, yeah, that for sure. No questions about it.
Sowing seeds or potting on?
Sowing seeds.
Good choice. Spring or summer?
Which country?
Oh,
Because in the UK they're pretty similar. No offense. Probably summer.
Today's favourite plant?
Orchids. Not quite a plant, but orchids, any kind of orchids. I'm just looking at a very, very beautiful cymbidium right now in my wife's office, because that's where I am now.
Wow.
They are beautiful plants. Unlimited compost or unlimited seeds?
Oh, unlimited seeds, because I can make my own compost from whatever I grow.
Definitely the right choice. If you could choose one plant to describe yourself, what would it be?
Oh, wow. Cacti, because I'm resilient.
Spiky.
Oh. I don't know. That is a dude. That is a. I feel like I need to think properly about this one. But maybe let's just go with cacti.
If you could have a gardening superpower, what would it be?
Getting rid of weeds very quickly. Gone, done. Oh man, that would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing.
Awesome. That's your lot.
Thank
Fantastic.
you very much.
Thanks for coming on at short notice.
Thanks ever so much, Dan. It's been really good.
Always
Yeah,
a pleasure.
really good to see you both and have a chat. And thank you, Jenny, for you've given me some ideas as well.
Brilliant.
Cool.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, indeed.
Fantastic.
All right. See you later, chaps. Have a good night.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks, mate. Ta-da. Bye.
Bye. There we go.
I just got a
From
nudge.
no guests to 2 guests.
I got a nudge off Teresa as she just walked in.
Sorry, Teresa.
Dinner's been ready for 20 minutes. Oops.
Oops. Sorry.
Never mind. That'll be all right. Right. Thanks ever so much, Mark. It's been really good. Thanks to our guests and thanks to everybody who's been watching.
Definitely. And we'll see you next week
And
for another guest.
we'll see you next Tuesday. Tuesday.
Definitely Tuesday next week.
Yeah.
I'm not gallivanting anywhere.
All right, mate. Have a good weekend. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Through the Garden Gate.